Stop wasting money on expensive face creams because what you're about to hear completely changes the way you understand aging. After more than 2 decades studying the science of aging, cellular regeneration, and skin biology, I can tell you with confidence that the most powerful anti aging laboratory in the world is not in Paris, not in a luxury Swiss clinic, and definitely not inside a small jar in your bathroom. It is right in your kitchen, and what you eat every single day is either quietly accelerating your wrinkles from the inside out or actively reversing the aging process at a cellular level. My name is Dr. William Lee, and in this video, I'm going to reveal 5 foods that the $60 billion a year skincare and anti aging industry would rather you never discovered. Because once you start eating these consistently, you may find yourself relying far less on their products. But before we get into the list, I want to ground everything in real science. A landmark study from researchers at Newcastle University followed 2,700 adults over the age of 65 for 7 years. The findings were remarkable. Participants who regularly consumed nutrient-dense, anti-inflammatory foods showed 31% less visible skin aging and 28% better skin elasticity. Even more striking, their telomeres, the protective caps at the ends of DNA that determine biological age, were measurably longer. In simple terms, their cells were biologically younger than those following a standard Western diet. All the references are available in the description, but the key idea is simple. Food does not just affect how you look, it directly influences how you age from within. And there is something even more important to understand before we continue. The number one food on this list is something so common, so inexpensive, and so often ignored that many people either throw it away or consume far too little of it without realizing its power. Yet it contains compounds that Harvard researchers have described as one of the most promising longevity molecules ever studied. Stay with me, because everything builds step by step. And before we continue, I want to ask you something directly. How old are you right now? Write it in the comments. And tell me what bothers you most about aging. Is it wrinkles around your eyes, loss of firmness, or the feeling that your face no longer reflects how you feel inside? I read every comment personally, and it helps shape future content that actually matters to you. Now let's begin the countdown from 5 to 1, and as we move forward, each food becomes more powerful than the last. We start at number 5 with something surprisingly simple, the sweet potato. It may sound too basic to have any real impact on aging, but what happens inside your body when you eat it regularly after the age of 60 is far more significant than most people realize. Sweet potatoes are among the richest natural sources of beta-carotene, the pigment responsible for their deep orange color. Inside the body, beta-carotene is converted into vitamin a nutrient essential for skin cell regeneration. This becomes especially important with age. After 65, the body's natural ability to produce collagen declines by about 40% compared to younger years. The fibroblasts, the cells responsible for collagen production, become slower and less responsive. Beta-carotene helps reactivate part of this system. It does not work like a surface treatment. Instead, it supports cellular activity from within, improving skin structure and regeneration capacity. A study from Wageningen University in the Netherlands examined over 100 women between the ages of 60 and 79. Those with higher dietary intake of beta-carotene showed significantly fewer wrinkles, especially around the eyes and forehead, with up to a 27% difference in visible skin aging compared to those with lower intake. Sweet potatoes also contain vitamin C, a critical nutrient for collagen synthesis. Without vitamin C, collagen production simply does not function efficiently. It is like having workers ready to build, but no tools to complete the job. Preparation also matters. Baking is better than boiling because boiling can leach water-soluble nutrients. And one important detail, always pair sweet potatoes with a healthy fat source like olive oil or avocado because beta-carotene is fat-soluble. Without fat, your body cannot properly absorb it. In fact, research shows absorption can increase by up to 300% when consumed with healthy fat. One 71-year-old patient began eating baked sweet potatoes 4 times a week with her dinner. After a few months, her family noticed visible changes in her skin without her mentioning anything. Small dietary changes, when done consistently, can create results that feel almost remarkable. Now that we understand how something so simple can influence skin regeneration from within, it is time to move to the next level of this list, where we explore an even deeper mechanism of cellular aging. At number 4, we move into something that goes far deeper than surface-level skin health, and this is where most discussions about aging completely miss the bigger picture. The food here is wild salmon, and more specifically, a compound inside it called astaxanthin, a molecule that is doing something inside your body that most people have never even heard of, yet the science that's behind it is extremely compelling. Astaxanthin is the carotenoid pigment responsible for giving salmon its natural pink-red color, but it is far more than just a coloring compound. A study published in the journal Nutrients, involving participants between the ages of 64 and 81, found that regular dietary intake of astaxanthin over a 16-week period reduced skin wrinkle depth by an average of 21% and significantly improved skin moisture levels. Unlike many compounds that lose relevance with age, astaxanthin becomes even more important as we grow older. The reason lies in one of the core drivers of aging itself: oxidative stress. You can think of oxidative stress as a process similar to rust forming on metal. Free radicals, unstable molecules produced through sunlight exposure, digestion, and even emotional stress attack healthy cells and collagen fibers, gradually breaking down the structural integrity of your tissues. This is one of the main reasons skin loses firmness and develops visible signs of aging. Your body does have its own antioxidant defense system, but research from the National Institute on Aging shows that after the age of 70, this internal defense system can become up to 38% less efficient. In other words, the same amount of cellular damage is occurring, but your ability to repair it is significantly reduced. This is where astaxanthin stands out in a remarkable way. Laboratory measurements show it is about 0 times more powerful than vitamin C as an antioxidant, 800 times more powerful than CoQ10, and 550 times more powerful than vitamin E. But what makes it truly unique is not just its strength, but how it works. Unlike many antioxidants that act only on the surface of cells, astaxanthin integrates into the cell membrane itself, protecting the cell from both inside and outside simultaneously. No other known antioxidant behaves in quite this way. Wild salmon also provides a rich source of omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA, which help reduce systemic inflammation. And this matters because inflammation is not just swelling or redness you can see. Chronic low-grade inflammation, often called inflammaging, is now recognized by researchers at institutions like Stanford as one of the primary drivers of accelerated biological aging. For preparation, the recommendation is to consume 2 to 3 servings of wild salmon per week. Wild Pacific salmon, especially sockeye, contains significantly higher levels of astaxanthin compared to farmed Atlantic salmon, where diet differences reduce nutrient density. Cooking method also matters. Baking or poaching is preferred over frying, since excessive heat can degrade omega-3 content. For better absorption and synergy, pairing salmon with leafy greens is highly effective. Nutrients like vitamin K and folate in greens support vascular health, which directly improves how efficiently nutrients reach skin cells. Now, as powerful as salmon is, the next food on this list shifts the focus even deeper into a mechanism of aging that most dermatology discussions barely touch. And this is where things start to become even more surprising. At number 3, we arrive at a food that surprises almost everyone when they first hear it because it does not look like a typical anti-aging superfood at all. Yet the science behind it is strong, consistent, and supported by multiple major research institutions. That food is dark chocolate, specifically high-quality dark chocolate with at least 70% cocoa content. And when you understand how it works inside the body, it becomes clear why it deserves a place on this list. Dark chocolate is rich in a powerful group of antioxidants called flavonols, especially compounds like epicatechin and catechin. These molecules have been studied extensively for their effects on skin health and circulation. In a controlled study involving adults over 65, conducted at the University of California, Davis, and later supported by research from Heinrich Heine University in Germany, participants who consumed just 20 grams of high flavanol dark chocolate daily for 12 weeks experienced a 25% improvement in skin hydration, a 22% improvement in skin density, and a measurable increase in blood flow to the skin. This improved circulation is extremely important. Think of blood flow as a delivery and waste removal system running through your skin. When it functions efficiently, oxygen and nutrients reach skin cells more effectively, and waste products are removed more quickly. The result is skin that looks healthier, more vibrant, and better maintained from the inside out. But the deeper mechanism becomes even more interesting when we look beneath the surface at the cellular level. One of the less discussed drivers of skin aging is mitochondrial dysfunction. Mitochondria are the energy-producing structures inside your cells, often described as tiny power plants. Your skin cells depend on them for repair, regeneration, and overall function. After the age of 65, research from the Buck Institute for Research on Aging in California has shown that mitochondrial efficiency in skin cells can decline by as much as 5%. When these cellular power plants become less efficient, the skin loses its ability to repair damage properly, collagen production slows down, and the skin becomes more vulnerable to environmental stress. The flavonols in dark chocolate have been shown to stimulate a process called mitochondrial biogenesis, which is the creation of new mitochondria within cells. This means you are not just supporting existing cellular energy systems, you are actually helping your body build new ones, improving overall cellular performance. Dark chocolate also contains important minerals like copper and zinc, both of which are essential for collagen and elastin production. After 65, the body's ability to absorb these minerals decreases due to changes in digestive efficiency, which makes dietary intake even more important. The effective amount used in studies is around 20 grams per day, which is roughly 2 small squares. Timing also matters. Consuming it in the afternoon, when cortisol levels naturally decline, can support the body's shift toward repair and recovery instead of stress. Response: for added synergy, combining dark chocolate with a small handful of almonds can further enhance skin protection. The vitamin E in almonds works together with flavonols to protect cell membranes more effectively, a combination highlighted in aging research on nutritional synergy. One patient in his 70s, initially considering cosmetic procedures for deep forehead lines, followed a dietary protocol that included dark chocolate for 3 months. Over time, not only did his energy and sleep improve, but his wife also noticed visible softening of his facial lines without any medical intervention. Now, as we move forward, we reach a food that shifts the focus from circulation and energy production to something even more fundamental: genetic pathways and cellular detox systems. At number 2, we reach what many researchers now consider one of the most powerful dietary discoveries in the last 2 decades for cellular aging. This is a food that most people either underestimate or consume in extremely small amounts without realizing its full biological impact. That food is broccoli sprouts. Not regular broccoli, but broccoli sprouts, those small, delicate shoots that can be grown at home in a simple jar for almost no cost. What makes them so powerful is not their size, but their concentration of a compound called sulforaphane. In fact, broccoli sprouts can contain 20 to 100 times more sulforaphane than mature broccoli. Sulforaphane is unique because it does not simply act as an antioxidant you consume. Instead, it activates a genetic pathway inside your body known as the NRF2 pathway. This pathway functions like a master switch for your body's internal defense and detoxification systems. When it is activated, your body increases the production of its own powerful antioxidant enzymes, including glutathione, superoxide dismutase, and catalase. Unlike dietary antioxidants, these are not compounds you directly eat. They are produced internally by your own cells. This is a major difference because it means your body's defense system becomes more active at the source, rather than relying only on external intake. A study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences found that older adults consuming sulforaphane-rich foods experienced up to a 40% increase in the activity of these internal antioxidant enzymes. Other research from Johns Hopkins University has shown that sulforaphane supports DNA repair mechanisms, reduces inflammation markers, and slows down cellular aging in aged tissue. When it comes to skin aging specifically, this becomes extremely important. As we get older, especially after 60, the NRF2 pathway becomes less active. This leads to reduced protection against UV damage, pollution, and metabolic stress. In simple terms, skin cells lose their ability to defend and repair themselves efficiently. Sulforaphane essentially helps switch that system back on. Broccoli sprouts are widely available in grocery stores, and they can also be grown at home for a very low cost. Most research-based protocols recommend around 3 tablespoons of fresh sprouts, consumed 3 to 4 times per week. However, preparation is critical. These sprouts should not be cooked. Heat destroys the enzyme myrosinase, which is necessary for converting sulforaphane into its active form in the body. The best way to consume them is raw, added to salads, sandwiches, or blended into smoothies. For even greater effectiveness, pairing broccoli sprouts with mustard greens or a small amount of mustard powder significantly enhances sulforaphane activation. Research from the University of Illinois found that this combination can increase bioavailability up to 4 times compared to eating sprouts alone. At this stage in the list, the effects are no longer just about skin appearance. They are about activating deep cellular defense systems that influence how every cell in your body ages. At number one, we arrive at the food that ties everything together, the one that directly connects to the deepest biological mechanisms behind visible aging. And even though it is often overlooked because of its simplicity, the science behind it is some of the most compelling in the entire field of nutrition and longevity research. That food is wild blueberries. Before you dismiss this as something you have already heard about, it is important to understand that wild blueberries are not the same as the common cultivated varieties found in most stores. They are smaller, darker, and grow in much harsher environments such as cold climates and nutrient poor soils. Because of these conditions, they naturally develop much higher levels of protective compounds called anthocyanins, which give them their deep blue purple color. Compared to cultivated blueberries, wild blueberries can contain 2 to 3 times more anthocyanins. This difference is not minor. It represents a completely different level of biological impact in the body. Anthocyanins are powerful plant compounds that play a direct role in protecting cells from oxidative damage and supporting long term tissue integrity. A 10-year longitudinal study from Harvard's T.H. Chan School of Public Health followed more than 16,000 adults aged 60 and older. The findings showed that those who regularly consumed blueberries experienced a 32% slower rate of cognitive decline, a 24% reduction in cardiovascular inflammation, and significantly younger biological aging markers across multiple tissues, including the skin. What makes these results especially important is how they connect to the core mechanism of aging itself: DNA damage and repair. Every single day, your skin cells experience thousands of small DNA damage events due to UV exposure, metabolic activity, and environmental stress. In younger years, the body repairs this damage efficiently. But after the age of 70, research from the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences shows that DNA repair efficiency can drop by up to 50%. This means damage accumulates faster than the body can fix it. And over time, that accumulation becomes visible on the skin as wrinkles, thinning, and loss of elasticity. Anthocyanins from wild blueberries have been shown to support and enhance DNA repair enzyme activity. They work through pathways involving proteins such as SIRT2 which is closely associated with cellular longevity and repair processes. But the importance of wild blueberries goes even deeper when we consider the broader picture of aging. Aging is not just about what you see on the surface. It is about how every cell in the body responds to damage, stress, and inflammation over time. Think of your body like a large, complex city. Every cell is a building that requires constant maintenance. Over time, the maintenance systems, your antioxidants, repair enzymes, and protective pathways, become less efficient. Damage begins to accumulate faster than it can be repaired. That is when visible aging begins to accelerate. Wild blueberries help slow this process by supporting both repair and protection systems at the same time. They reduce oxidative stress, support DNA repair, and help maintain cellular function across multiple systems in the body. And when combined with other foods like broccoli sprouts, which activate internal detox pathways, the effect becomes even more powerful. These nutrients work together to reduce chronic inflammation, sometimes referred to as inflammaging, which is now recognized as one of the key drivers of accelerated aging. Research also shows that anthocyanins can cross the blood-brain barrier, reducing oxidative stress in the brain and supporting cognitive function. This means the benefits are not limited to skin health. They extend to memory, focus, and mental clarity as well. There is also an important synergy effect here. When wild blueberries are combined with healthy fats like nuts or seeds, the absorption of antioxidants increases. Similarly, when paired with other plant compounds from foods like broccoli sprouts, the overall anti-inflammatory and protective effect is significantly enhanced. Ultimately, the message is simple. Aging is not just a cosmetic process, it is a cellular one, and every meal you eat either supports that system or works against it. These 5 foods, sweet potatoes, wild salmon, dark chocolate, broccoli sprouts, and wild blueberries, are not magic solutions. But when included consistently in your diet, they can meaningfully influence how your body ages at the cellular level. Because the real truth is this: your skin does not age in isolation. It reflects what is happening inside every single cell of your body. And that is the part most people never realize until it is too late.